In this video, we're going to continue looking at the object library, and now we're going to look at how to import some objects from outside of our file. So when we go into the object library, let's just go back to where we started. We're looking at the embedded library. We see that there's nothing there at the moment. And the linked library, we see that we've got the ArchiCAD library 22, and it's got quite a lot of things in it, but some of the things aren't that attractive, and it might not have exactly what you want, particularly if you're trying to create some interior styling and you want a very particular type of, say, a chair. You might not find exactly what you're after in ArchiCAD. So what do? One of the things that we can do is search online within ArchiCAD itself. So I've just typed this in, chair. Of course, I'm using a very generic name. I know that's what ArchiCAD tends to use to call the file anyway. And so it's searching, and it's just found 105 library parts. So we'll start scrolling, and we can see that most of these already are straight from out of ArchiCAD. But then as we go further down the list, we see this symbol, which means it's generally online. It's being brought in. It's on the BIM components portal, perhaps. It's found these online in databases that are related to ArchiCAD. So we can't be assured of exactly how perfect they are for what we want. I've had some issues with these before, but generally we can assume that they're at least going to work in ArchiCAD because we can find them through ArchiCAD. And of course, the problem with searching for anything online is you just don't know of the reliability of it. And downloading something like an object file could be dangerous because you don't know whether there's other things in there, viruses or whatsoever. So more elements on the BIM components portal. Let's click there. Hopefully my internet speed isn't so slow that this process is horrible. So BIM components, this website is built entirely for this purpose, for you to be able to go straight out of ArchiCAD or straight into ArchiCAD, trying to find what you're after. So we can see if we go back to our file, it said we'd found 105 plus library parts, and we just click down here under BIM components portal, and it's already taken us to somewhere that says it's got 941 chairs. So that's pretty good. Show more. So this is a great place to start, and this might be as far as you ever need to look. But what we will find is that there are so many different websites available now where we can find so many different types of things. So let's forget about the actual search and look at the way that it's categorized it. So we can choose, of course the problem is that we're going to end up with thousands of objects, and in some cases millions of objects around the world. So how do we break it down? How do we find exactly what we're looking for? So maybe we're searching for something by alphabetical order, but of course that all depends on how people have named it. So that's not necessarily helpful. Maybe we'll use other people's searches. So we'll use something like popularity to help be able to find it. Language, sometimes, I guess we're quite blessed to be able to have a language that is spoken a lot around the world. We're using the English language. So it's a bit funny when we find Australian language stuff, but maybe that's where it's coming from. Of course, I use a bit of Australian language, and hopefully you all understand me because of that. I realize I say gonna too much instead of going to. When I look at my own transcripts, I realize I have to stop saying that. I need to speak more properly. But hopefully you at least understand what I'm going on about. And all license types. Of course, this is very important as well to understand. Just because we can find something online, it doesn't mean that we necessarily have the license to be able to use it. So knowing whether it is for public use or commercial use, and if we're getting it for commercial use, are we paying to use it? Is the person who is offering it the person who owns it, or do we need to seek a license? That's another important question. So this is probably the first place to search, bimcomponents.com, but then in the next video we'll have a look at the other places that we might start to find other objects.